I'm shocked this is actually happening.
I know. It's not that it's so hard to do, but between you and me, you and I have had this funny relationship, which I enjoy.
The journey to sit down with Josh Brolin was a strange one. Originally planned for early 2024, the star actor called off the shoot.
He sent me his shows, and I thought, what does he want me to do? Does he want me to do this dog and pony thing? So I fought him a lot.
But by that point, we'd already become pen pals of sorts, and that continued with him sending voice memos ranging from sincere.
All our exchanges have been very honest, for better or worse, even when you got pissed.
To completely inane.
Shoot, man. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm not gonna send this.
The interview got new life in the lead up to his memoir's release.
Look forward to it. If you gotta change it, let me know.
And we finally met up at his property in Santa Monica, California.
You look like you're ready to play some golf or some chess.
Josh Brolin.
I hope I didn't say anything that I'm gonna regret.
Right here on In Depth.
There's nothing threatening about you, which I love. And then yet you got mad and you were persistent, so you have balls. And I appreciate your balls. I don't want to see them, but I appreciate your balls.
It's just be difficult.
This is going to be the most uncomfortable interview you've ever had.
Your dad said he recalls, like, I think he was a junior in high school, deciding what elective to take, and one was like woodworking, another was something with copper, and then there was the acting one.
Yeah, there was like underwater basket weaving or acting, and I took the acting one. We were in the theater in Santa Barbara High School, and there were maybe 15 people in the class, 20 people in the class, and she said, we're going to do something called improvise. No idea, never heard of it. And she said, Josh, and it was the first one. I had no idea. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I was terrified of getting up on stage. It's a terror that's carried itself into now. You know, still a massive, massive fear that revolves around presenting myself. I mean, I remember doing an episode of Highway to Heaven.
You lied to me and to Jennifer all these years. All you did was lie.
And my legs were shaking so bad that all the focus was not on what was happening in the scene. All the focus was how to get my legs to stop shaking. If I can make them so tight that they'll stop shaking. You know what I mean? So there's been some through line to that, where I've gotten up and gotten nervous and my trachea closes up. And suddenly there's a different voice coming out.
Your dad had told me last night his recommendation to you was always to be a character actor, and that you heard that kind of resonated. Your thoughts?
I don't know if that's true or not. I was lucky enough after 300 auditions or whatever to get the Goonies. It just happened, you know? So for whatever reasons that happened, and then you experience this incredible thing that's now become even more incredible. But afterwards, it wasn't that, you know? I'm sure I got thrashing based on the Goonies, and then after that, it just kind of went downhill, and I spent 22 years just trying to work.
Fed up with acting, Brolin became a day trader in the mid-2000s.
It was every day, man. I was up at 4:30 every morning, and I ended up making more money than I had ever made acting.
But his career was revived in 2007 with two critically acclaimed movies, the Coen brothers' No Country for Old Men and the Denzel Washington-led American Gangster.
Take me to the moment where your agent tells you how much you're going to make.
I was broke, man. Like, I had paid back debts that I had, and I hadn't made a lot of money.
And never, ever come into this city again unannounced.
She was like, guess what? Like, you got some back end for American Gangster. And I was like, what? And then she sent me the number. And I was like, I can't believe this. Like, 60 grand, that's amazing. And she said, look at it again. And I had missed a zero. And I started bawling. I started crying. I just felt like it just made no sense to me. It was winning the lottery. That was it. I was good for good. I could never act again and live for the rest of my life on 600 grand. Did he tell you the pig story? What This is a horrible story, man. So this is something nobody knows about. James Brolin sings. So he did my mom, I think, instigated this. And there's 2 songs in the back that I did, Let's Go Fishing and Daddy, What If? Oh my God, what if I put this on?
The sun stopped shining. What would happen then?
Okay,
If the sun stopped shining, she'd be so surprised. You'd stare at the heavens with those wide open eyes. And the wind.
how's he doing?
What?
How's he doing?
I think he was better than I could do.
the sun.
What do you think?
It's not bad. Listen how crackly it is.
Daddy, what if the
And who's that?
Me, 6 years old.
What would happen then?
So you hear then, and I sound like a country kid.
The son of actor James Brolin, Josh grew up on a ranch in Paso Robles, California, waking up at first light to feed the family horses, sometimes as many as 65, but those were far from the only animals he had to care for.
Explain the cages that you used to clean.
Oh, the cages were filled with wolves. It depends. It was all because my mom was an animal activist who would find people who would illegally take them out of the wild, re-release them, or find the most habitable zoo.
And these weren't always tame animals either, which
None of them were
right?
tame. There was no tame animals. I birthed a lot of mountain lions. That's a cougar, baby cougar.
You would wake up some mornings with bite marks on your face.
Holes, not bite marks. Holes, bleeding holes.
You remember when you were having dinner one night and your dad said you announced to the table you're having some of the best ribs that you've ever had?
Did he tell you the pig story? What a God, man. This is a horrible story, man. Me raising pigs, Oink and Snort. Those were their names. And I helped raise these pigs, and then we're eating dinner one night, and my dad, it's amazing to me that he would tell you that story. It makes him look so bad. He said, guess what you're eating? I said, what? He said, either Oink or Snort. Why would you tell your kid that with any semblance of like celebration? Or was he just looking to have an impact? I think he was looking to have an impact.
Have you guys talked about that
Yeah,
story
we've
since?
talked about it, but my dad's an interesting guy in that he's super friendly, but there's a stop sign.
How so?
I'll give you an example. I called my dad one day and I said, can you and I get together? Because my mom died, was pretty young, and there's some questions that I would have liked to have asked her about just you and like your likes and dislikes and your past and your family and all that. For what? Well, I don't understand. He started to get more stressed about it. And I was like, okay. And I backed up and I said, I tell you what if I put in a recorder and I'll write out a bunch of questions and then you can just kind of randomly, like whatever comes in your head, just riff. Yeah, that sounds great. So I wrote 107 questions, wrote it right then. And then brought it up maybe 6 months later. I said, are you putting stuff on that recorder? And he was like, yeah, where is that thing? And I went, and then I got it. There's something about the history of you that you don't want to visit. And that's okay. So I didn't take it personally. But in reaction to that story, my daughter for Christmas, I open a thing and it's getting to know my dad better. And I'm still filling it out, hand, I'm probably halfway through it now. So yeah, that's breaking the chain.
How do you think the divorce impacted you?
I think by the time they did it was like, the mentality was, yeah, do the thing that you've been talking about forever. Just do it, you know. He was living in the bedroom next to mine downstairs, and she was upstairs.
And he feared her.
Well, everybody feared my mother.
Why?
For obvious reasons. I wish she was here. You'd be scared of her. You know what I mean? She was super funny, super fun. But if you think I'm affrontive, forget it. It's like, if you're a character, if you're just an interesting personality, there's a positive that comes with that and there's a negative that comes with that in my world. And when I look at my mom is the extreme of that. So even the negative impact that she had, at least she had an impact. She was there, unapologetically herself. And that's interesting to me. Nobody compares to my mom. Nobody. Kudos. Good for you. Yay. Go, Graham.
So what can you play on it?
Oh, man. Listen, this is not in tune, so I can't play, but I can play. Anyway, it is what it is. I wish I could do it for you, but it's not in tune.
Many of Josh Brolin's adolescent days were spent here at Butterfly Beach in Santa Barbara. It was a common hangout spot for the Cedo Rats, a local gang in which Brolin found both kinship and mischief, landing him in juvie multiple times.
None of us were going to make it, you know, and it sounds so morbid and all that, but most of those guys didn't make it. Most of those guys died.
Brolin was introduced to LSD at age 13, and then heroin a few years later. He's been open about his drug history, including in his new memoir, but not every story is in the book.
The frozen fish in someone's rectum.
How do you know that? How do you know that? I didn't write about that. How do you know that?
We found out about it.
You did?
Somewhere.
This is like research about the frozen fish in some dude's ass? Amazing. Kudos. Good for you. Yay. Go, Graham. The guy didn't die. That's the point. He had an awakening. Maybe two, but he definitely had one.
Well, that's what
Poor dude.
we just didn't understand.
That's what you got to understand. Look at him sweating now.
We just didn't understand the relevancy of that to saving the guy. So,
That's what you have to know.
Yeah.
Like, every day was that, man. But was it fun?
do you miss it?
No. I love that I have it, though. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But it's mine.
Brolin has no problems owning his past, whether it's his former partying days or the ups and downs of his previous marriages.
I don't have the kind of vitriolic, perception of the past. I'm still very close with the mother of my older kids, And I think we both decided along the way, because we got together so young. I mean, I look at 19-year-olds now, and I'm like, you're a baby. Like, how would you ever... But my dad and I had kids at the same time. And I, confronted him when I was 19, and I said, hey, I'm having a baby. And he was like, hey, me too.
Brolin also has 2 young kids with his third wife, Kathryn Boyd, whom he first met when she worked as his assistant.
I want to experience the rest of my life with this person because I trust this person. And the trust didn't come from that person, partially. But the trust came from a shift in my own perspective of like, I know can happen. We're all human. We all up. But I like being around this person.
Was there a moment that caused that perspective shift?
Getting sober.
So she brought up her own sobriety and said, she said 2 weeks after you got sober, she made the decision to do it herself. And she said the scariest part for her was the fact that the entirety of your guys' relationship up to that point, or like some of the most fun moments had been always partying, and how you figure out how to enjoy life together.
How do you know if you
that?
even like this person without that? I mean, it was hard partying. My job is to make sobriety more fun than my greatest romance of what drinking used to be. That's what I didn't understand before. I loved to drink, man. I loved it. And it was like gasoline to me. It was like fuel.
You said it was a hit of adrenaline.
Yeah, man. It's like that Jekyll Hyde thing. It's like I'm a decent human being, and then I have a drink, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, dude just blinked and changed. That doesn't happen anymore. And I'm so happy it doesn't happen anymore. I think what Kathryn saw when I got sober was that was first. I was willing to lose her. I was willing to lose anything. I was willing to lose it all to make that the priority, and that it starts with me and starts with my own relationship with myself and how I carry myself and how honest I am with myself. And I've seen from that moment on the massive impact that that's had.
Really?
Massive, massive. The biggest one being my older kids. I didn't know that my older kids didn't trust me. 4.5 years into it, I just remember seeing in both kids' eyes something changed. Like, oh, we can rely on this dude. Now we're on to the stabbing. Hey, dude.
Well, so it was...
You're going to hell, by the way.
Oh, come on. Movie or theater acting?
Movies.
Goonies or No Country for Old Men?
Oof, that's a tough one, man. 2 major milestones equal.
Thanos or Cable?
Thanos.
Austin or Timothy?
Oh, dude, why would you do that? You're an evil mother. How dare you? Awful. Florence.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, I remember it. Now we're on to the stabbing. Hey, dude.
Well, so it was...
You're going to hell, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead, try to ask your question.
Kathryn,
Mother.
she brought up her most vivid memory from that moment is listening to you on the phone.
After I'd been stabbed?
With your kid's mother.
Oh, yeah. Being stabbed with what I was stabbed with in the way that I was stabbed, which was a straight arm death blow, I should have died right away. It missed my aortic artery, which comes down and splits, I think. It missed by like 2 millimeters. And I was like, you know, if I don't make it, she said, you're gonna be fine. I was like, how do you know that? She's like, I don't mean this in some romantic, like, you know, pompous way, but people like you don't die.
Josh Brolin was visiting Costa Rica to surf, a sport he's been passionate about since childhood. His home in Santa Barbara is just off the ocean, as is his Venice Beach property where we chatted.
There's a faded picture of my mom.
What's the story on the chimp?
The one animal that she had that she could have gotten rid of early and she didn't was Reggie. Reggie was with us for probably 10 years. Mm-hmm. And she used to do stuff like that, which she shouldn't. He's at an age now where you shouldn't be able to do that. She dies a year almost to the day he died. So we were helping him out. We took him to a person hospital, spinal meningitis, and then he ended up dying. I was spooning him in the back of a truck.
What's the Ollie one here for?
Just an inspiration. I made Ollie laugh once.
Oh, did you?
We were at a Julio Cesar Chavez fight, and I was backstage with Tyson and Ali. And Ali got up and he told me a joke. I don't remember what I said back, but I made him laugh. And then my buddy Chris looked at me and he goes, "You just made Muhammad Ali laugh." I was like, I know.
What about this guy?
The Thanos, the handless Thanos. Somebody gave me the, oh, look at it. What if you can put that in there? No, you can't. Somebody gave me this as a gift. I usually refuse those things because you can tell that there was a moment where I had movie memorabilia and all that, and then I just started getting sick of it. Mm-hmm. I wanted stuff that inspired me as opposed to stuff I've done. And it's not just me. You know, when my daughter was really young and we were in Wyoming and we took pictures for a Christmas card that didn't work out.
What acting advice did you give her?
Is the least amount possible. You know, acting advice doesn't work, man. If you get into the acting profession, you have rejection. Most of it is rejection. You'll have a movie that does well, hopefully. That's amazing. If that happens, forget it. That's like 1 in a million. You do your best. You absolutely give 1,000%. And that's it. Let it go. Jonah Hex. No Country. You know what I mean? Both with the same intention. Over and out. Stab wound.
Oh,
They went in there. I got stabbed there. Yee. All right.
thanks for doing this.
Of course, man. Salute.